So, hello, and welcome to Success Stories with Key, where you get a chance to see success through the eyes of someone who is achieving success. What is success? Success means different things to different people. I'm interested in hearing from these people to find out about their achievements, their challenges, and their keys to success. This week, I bring you the first of a special three-part interview that revolves around a not-for-profit organisation called Akademi Kristus in Bali, Indonesia. I have the honour of speaking with one of the co-founders, Geoff Collins. Hello, Geoff, and welcome to Success Stories with Key.
Good day, Keith. Thanks for having me here. Pleasure.
Geoff runs Akademi Kristus, or AK, in Bali, where he lives with his wife and three children. AK's vision is to empower and equip Indonesian youth, families, and communities. Its mission is to foster hope and empowerment through real relationships and through the delivery of martial arts, education, and creative arts. Geoff has had a very interesting journey, so let's hear it directly from him.
Okay. It's a long story, but I'll try and keep it nice and succinct. I'm originally from Tasmania, born in the late 70s. I actually left home at 14, left school at 15, traveled around Australia in a combi at 18, all the way through to 20. And then at 20 years old, I went over to Indonesia on a holiday, and I've been there ever since. So 23 years in Indonesia. Did the thing that most people do, got a job and a career and started buying a house, and just felt like that wasn't my real purpose in life, just to chase money and, a bigger house and holidays and stuff. So my wife and I sold everything up and we moved from Java in Indonesia over to Bali, with the sole purpose of just trying to serve people and help people. And we started off in a little slum on a tarpaulin under a tree 14, nearly 15 years ago, teaching kids. And now we've got multiple campuses, 250 students, and a bunch of different programs that are going on.
That sounds really interesting. Can you tell me a little bit more about AK?
Yep. So we have a number of programs. One is a government equivalency exam class for kids who've never been to school or kicked out of school, dropped out of school for different reasons. They can register with us and come to school with us for a year and sit their equivalency exam, and then they get certification, which is recognized by the Indonesian government, which helps them to get into schools or into the workforce. We have a disability education program. We work with 6 disabled kids and 1 disabled parent. So we have education for them, and we also have a walking program. So some of the families aren't able to physically lift their disabled family members into wheelchairs. So we employ a local guy to lift them into wheelchairs, take them walking every day. So he does 2 hours at each of those houses every day. We have numeracy and literacy for young learners who are preschool age. We have computer classes for older kids and also younger kids. And we have boxing, jiu-jitsu, capoeira, all sorts of exciting stuff going on.
Amazing. That's incredible what you and the team have been able to do for the community. Given this, what are some of your proudest achievements?
I think I reflected on this, and I think my proudest achievement was just recently. I've got 3 daughters, and my eldest is 19. And in January of this year, my eldest moved over to Australia to live over here, be an immigrant, in a sense. And she called us after a while there. She's been working at a childcare centre, and she said, she's looked around at Australian society and seen kids here and all the rest of it. And she just said she was really thankful that we brought her up the way that we did. And she said, we did a good job of parenting. The other one is, if you go into AK any day of the week and you just sit down and life is going on around you, we have a community. So, we have a very, precious place in that community. We've spent 14 years with these people. We've been through thick and thin with them. We just to sit there and hang out and watch the kids eating lunch and learning and hanging out. Like, to me, that's a very proud achievement, that we've created that community there, or we've built it, or we get to be a part of it.
So what makes you proud of this achievement at AK?
I had a mentor once, and he said, you need to keep your life in order. And he said, if you keep your life in order, everything will be all right. But everything about life is trying to pull your life out of order. And he said, the order is God, family, work, and ministry. And too many people, they put their job or their work before their family. They put, other things before God. They keep everything out of whack, and they don't realize why their life isn't going right. So we did a lot of very difficult things to try and keep that in order, and I think it paid off.
So tell me, Geoff, how did the AK journey evolve through the years?
So, I mean, originally it was just our family. We were going in there, and we were on the tarpaulin under the tree, teaching the kids and hanging out. And we actually met some wonderful people. Woon, who I met through Red Frogs, who then introduced me to Jamie Murray from Renegade MMA. And Jamie got a got a fire under him and said, tell these guys to look for their own place. And we started looking for a place. Jamie then ran the Grappleathon, which meant he taught jiu-jitsu non-stop for 33 and a half hours to raise enough money to get us into our own place where we could run AK. And we ran AK. We had a little house that we lived in behind it, and we had not much more than a vacant lot with a tin roof in the beginning. It was 2 years before we got toilets in there. It was, a very, very organic progression.
With such an interesting journey, I'd assume that you would have faced some challenges along the way. Can you share some experiences with us?
Yep. I'll get very personal. So when we left our financial security, if you like, I was working part time, and we, over a period of years, became very, very poor. We put everything into AK. We sold our house. We sold our car. We sold a lot of stuff we had, and we got to the point where we had to homeschool our kids, and it came to a head when my two eldest daughters got dengue fever. And in Indonesia, there's no real public health system. You have to pay to get your kids into hospital, and we didn't have the money to put them in hospital. It was about $500. And I had to end up borrowing that. But that was the point where I said, that's it. Like, if our situation doesn't change within 6 months, I think we have to give this up and head back to where I could go back to my career, and we could go back to financial security. And then, funnily enough, just a few weeks later, the place where I was working part time at offered me a full time job. They said, like, we love what you're doing. We'll give you a full time job. We'll give you this salary and this package and all the rest of it. And I went home and told my wife, and she said, you had all that stuff before we left to do this. And, if that's what we wanted, you should have just stayed there. And I sort of looked at her and said, are you serious? And she said, we told God we'd go for 6 more months. We've got 3 months left. Let's stick it out. So, she's an amazing woman of faith. And as hard as our situation was, we stuck it out, and we said, okay, we'll keep going until December. And, things changed. Got a little bit more work here, a little bit more there. The guys from Renegade and other people got behind us and supported us and helped us. And, we sort of came through that time.
Based on your experience, what advice would you give to others facing challenges?
I'd say this: everything in life is growth, and challenge is good. Suffering is good. The world doesn't like to see it that way, but you generally grow. I mean, if you think about it, where do you grow more? When everything's going easy and it's smooth sailing, or when you're doing it tough? You nearly always learn a lot more when you're doing it tough. So, I mean, jiu-jitsu is a great example. Jiu-jitsu is hard. Going to class is hard. You don't want to do it. Your body's telling you just stay on the couch. But you get up, you go to class, you get smashed. It hurts. It's hard. You leave it on the mat, but you grow from it. Life is the same. You should be always extending yourself, always looking for challenges, embrace suffering, in every way. Like, you look at your health. How do you get fit and healthy? Yeah, you work out, you push against weights, you run, you fast, you do all these things. None of them are very pleasurable, but that's what's good for you.
That's a very insightful answer. I now want to hear about your view of success. Specifically, how do you define success?
I've written it down here. I've actually got a quote that I really like. You mind if I read it?
Please.
Okay, this is from George Bernard Shaw, and his quote is, "This is the true joy in life, being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I'm of the opinion that life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live it, it is my privilege to do for it what I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. So, I mean, for me, uh, I think again, having a life of purpose is a life of success, and I find purpose in serving God and serving community. I think if you have all the money in the world sit in your bank, but you don't have good character, you don't have good standing among your community, you don't have good friends, what is it worth?
So based on that definition, what are the things that you've done that you deem successful?
So number one for me was giving my life to God. I mean, I was an atheist, non-believer, and my life was a mess. But when I discovered God and discovered the Bible and structure in that, that was the first step in me being transformed into someone who's useful for society. The second one is not believing the lie. The lie is that the more you get, the happier you're going to be. It's not true. The more possessions, the more money, the more prestige, even, it's not going to lead you to happiness. It's a lie that society tells you. You can just buy something, you can just go on a holiday, just get a bigger car, just get whatever, and it will make you happy. It's a fleeting thing. Happiness, true happiness and true success comes from finding a real purpose that you can connect to, which is bigger than yourself. And the final thing I think that is quite important that I've learned during this process is to know what your mission is or know what your purpose is and stay on target. It's very easy to get distracted and go left and right. There are so many good things out there that it's very easy to get taken off what your true mission and what your true purpose is. The beauty of life is that, we all have a function to play, and if we all just do our part, everything will be all right.
Okay, so now is the time that I play back to you my interpretation of your keys to success. Firstly is keep things in order. Second is embrace challenges. Always look for challenges because this is where you grow. Third is don't believe in the lie that society is selling. 4 is to find a life of purpose. And 5 is stay on target. Don't get distracted. Have I captured this correctly?
It sounds pretty good. Yeah, listened well, summed up well.
Okay, final question. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Uh, I I honestly believe I couldn't have given my younger self any advice. I was too lost, too broken. Uh, I was a mess basically. For me, I needed time to process what was going on in my younger life, but I also needed to encounter God. I could have gone either way. I could have ended up in prison. I could have ended up dead. I could have ended up a drug addict. I could have ended up, a waste of life. But I thank God, I met him. I discovered a whole new way of living.
Before you go, can you tell us how we can help Akademi Kristus to continue on its mission to help those less fortunate and to serve the community in Bali?
There's a number of things, like please jump on our social media and check stuff out. So Akademi Kristus Community and Friends on Facebook. We've got Akademi Kristus Sanor on Instagram, and there's also YouTube and other things. So go along there. If you're interested in supporting AK, we need your help to be straight up and honest. Like, every little bit helps. We have a number of different programs where you can support for as little as $1 a day, individually or as a family or as a jiu-jitsu class or a school or a group or whatever. It all helps a lot.
Thank you so much, Geoff, for sharing your incredible story. It's been very inspirational, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you as well, Keith. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and hopefully we'll get to have a role soon.
Sounds good.
If you've found this useful, please like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Follow Key to Success so you can benefit from my learnings as I undertake my own journey to success.